Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to show you how I set up the new enclosure for our Woma Python. If you didn't get a chance to check out our last video, it is linked in the description below. But we got a new species to our collection. We got a Woma Python. She is a female, and if you saw our last video, we named her Tigress. So I pre-recorded this video because I wanted to show you how I set up her enclosure. Before acquiring new animals, I always do a ton of research on where they're originally from, how to care for them. I really dive into the research to make sure I can provide the best care for the animals that I have. So here are some facts about Woma Pythons that I did find out. Woma Pythons are found in the arid and semi-arid regions of Australia. You can find them in the more desert areas to the more woodland areas. They are found all over. They are a cousin to the black-headed python. They typically need about 50% humidity to shed correctly. Their ambient temperatures usually stay around 80-85. Basking spot is usually about 87 to 90. On the cool side, you can get down as far as 75. At night, you can drop the ambient temperatures down to as low as 72. In the wild, that is the temperature ranges that they are used to. They do like to burrow, so during the day, you can usually find them in little burrows where they keep cool underground until nighttime, where they come out to feed. They typically feed on lizards and other snakes in the wild, but in captivity, they feed regularly on rats, and they do just fine with that. As they get older, you can vary up their diet. As ball python breeders, sometimes you get baby ball pythons that don't make it, or you get eggs that don't develop properly. You can feed these to your Woma Python. It creates less waste, and it creates a viable food source for them as well. Our baby Woma is currently eating rat pinkies on a weekly basis, so she'll probably be eating rats for quite some time until we get going with other food sources. So when doing my research, I realized that except for telling me where they come from originally, there really isn't a care sheet or a setup or anything to tell you how to properly set up a Woma Python enclosure. So what I did is I found out other animals that live in the area, and one of the animals that's really popular in the US is a bearded dragon. Woma Pythons actually eat bearded dragons in the wild. So I looked up how bioactive setups are set up for bearded dragons and kind of use that as a guideline to set up an enclosure for a Woma Python. Now that we got all the information out there, we're going to set up her enclosure. But before we do that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and head on over to our Instagram pages and give us a follow to see new photos, and when videos drop, they're linked in the description below. All right, so this is the tub I'm going to be using. This is one that we had for our other ball pythons when they were juveniles. So she is fairly small, so this will work perfect. It has the gaskets, and then it's going to go on our shelf with some heat tape. So we got her a small snake hook to do some snake hook training, because Woma Pythons are kind of ferocious and aggressive eaters. So it's always good to get them out of their enclosure with a snake hook before handling. And then once you have them out, they are pretty easy to handle, and they're pretty docile animals. So we have a water dish. We have just a little plastic half log that I had on hand. Just some foliage. We have 2 plastic hides right here. One for the cool end and one for the warm end that my husband just made out of some little plastic food containers. And then the substrate we're going to be using is we are going to be mixing this Exoterra desert sand with some eco earth. So the desert sand will keep the enclosure a little bit arid, while the eco earth will hold some humidity to keep the humidity up. So we are going to be mixing these 2 substrates together to make the floor of this enclosure. All right, so now we're going to get going on getting this all together. Real quick, I just wanted to say that this is actual real sand. It is not the calcium sand. That is very bad for your animal. Do not use calcium sand. So I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Also, I forgot to mention that I have these homemade humidity boxes. So because they burrow, I am gonna make a humidity hide with some sphagnum moss. So I'm gonna go get that ready real quick. All right, so I finished up making some moss. This is for the hide as well as shedding. It aids in shedding. I find that no matter what species I keep when they are babies, because they shed quite often, that they like to crawl in here and it really gives them a nice full shed. So I always put one of these in there, whether I have the right substrate that holds humidity or not. These are really good for babies. So I'm just thoroughly mixing this together. The sand is quite heavy, so you really have to mix the Eco Earth together. The Eco Earth is really light. Now we are going to add one of our hides. All right. I always leave underneath the hide without substrate, so it's easier for the snake to get that belly heat from the heat tape underneath there. So now we have our second little hide. So we're just gonna kind of nuzzle down right here. We have our water bowl, which I'll put water in it when we get her. Put that on the cool side. And we have our little half log that I just kind of nestle in here, so it lets them come from one hide through there into the other one and makes them feel safe and hidden. And then I usually just throw a little bit of foliage on top. Kind of makes them secure and makes them feel like they're hidden in there. All right, and that is our enclosure for our new baby Woma Python. I'm gonna open up this snake hook. This thing was cheap. I got it off Amazon for like $6. She's fairly small, so this will work pretty good. And it extends to the length you need it. It's a nice little intro hook, and then we have our bigger one that we use for our emerald tree boa. I don't know if you can see that. It extends to 26 inches. Why do they have that for a ball python? I don't know. Apparently you're not supposed to use it for venomous reptiles. I don't know if that's focusing or not. Whoop, whoop. Guess not. But yeah, that's a Zoomed snake hook. She is gonna go on the shelf where all of our other ball pythons used to be. This is now our quarantine shelf, and she's gonna slide right in here, and she has the nice heat tape to keep her warm. All right, let's button this up, and we're gonna go put it on the shelf and start letting it warm up. All right, now we are all ready for our new girl. All right, well, that was it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. I will leave links in the description below for all the products we use, like the snake hook, the sand, the Eco Earth, and some of the other things. So again, thank you for watching. I hope the video was informative. If you are getting a Woma Python soon, I hope this really helped in your search for seeing how to take care of them and a proper setup. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay sane, get out there and make your own footprints. I'll see you guys later. Bye.